Hi, this is Dana, and welcome on my channel. On my channel, I speak about spiritual warfare, and I provide spiritual teachings, authentic divine guidance received by myself during my spiritual journey. Now, God is guiding me in this video to take further the topic previously discussed, namely the use of sex and sexuality in directing energy attacks and occult practices um, at individuals. So God wanted me to, in this video, to mention a specific topic, namely, there are a wide variety of attacks directed on this issue. And there are different ways to fight against sexual attacks. There are many ways. You, of course, have the very well known practice of monks, especially monks in Christianity. I'm not very familiar with monks from other religions, but of course, you have the Templars as well. And in general, monks focus on abstinence, on prayer, um, and of course of silencing your mind, and many of the type of meditations which I have already described in my previous videos, namely silent meditation where you silence your mind, light body meditation in order to identify the type of energy being sent to you, and the type of attack, to isolate it in your energy field, and of course to push it out, to clean it out of your from your energy field, um, transmuting it. You of course have part of this, also the Kundalini rise, which I already made a video on that. Again, it's a spiritual practice, and it's very widely spread of fake knowledge associating Kundalini rise with the need for sexual engagement. This is not true. It can be done in isolation, focused only on energy work by yourself. Um, Now, in addition, of course, you have in Hinduism specific spiritual guidance coming from Shiva, who focused on fighting this type of attacks. These are attacks focused on uh, these are spiritual attacks. Their goal, their aim is to block you from your path, from your spiritual path, to divert you into addictions, for example, many of the attacks are focused on owning you. That is a very dangerous type of attack, and it's usually done also through occult practices of hypnosis, of necromancy, of spirit attachment, of and owning you means that you submit willingly to that, even if in reality they are tampering with your free will by doing hypnosis, mind programming, and so on. But you are submitting uh, to that kind of practice, and their goal is to own you, namely, they aim to gain claims over your soul. So you will accept this and this is where you find this uh, human trafficking and sexual trafficking networks, where many individuals actually are taking part in, right? But there are also those attacks also in sexual nature. If you stand in your power and you fight against attacks to own you, usually they engage in different type of more aggressive type of sexual attacks, which are aimed at traumatizing you, to create a trauma bond on you. So if you're not easily drawn into this, to accept this kind of practices, then they will try to use it against you, to traumatize you, to create a trauma bond on you, to break your spirit, and to block you from your path in a different way. And also, all throughout all of this sexual aggression, they feed on you, because of course it is very difficult, if you're being traumatized, it is very difficult to keep your composure. So essentially they will feed on your energy, even if not sexual energy. They will feed on your energy on heart chakra, from the trauma that you're suffering from, from different levels of energy, which they can still take from you, right? And they, of course, in all ways, can access you during your dream state. This is why usually monks in all religions, they don't sleep much. They stay awake a lot because of this, because they access you during your dream state, and it's much more difficult to reject the attack. Now, you must follow divine guidance, because usually they alternate the type of attacks. They use a combination of many type of attacks, and the choices they make in which way to attack you are tailored usually on your psychological profile, you know, and on your purpose, on your spiritual purpose, many times. So, for example, if you have a purpose to achieve a certain spiritual mission in purity on earth, they will do more aggressive um, sexual attacks on you in order to traumatize you, so you won't be able um, uh, to stand fully in your power, in your purity, right? So you will sort of, I don't know how to say this, by trauma you would develop a self-defense mechanism on your subconscious level against those issues which you are actually sent here to solve. This is it is very complicated, and there are many ways in which they actually employ all of this, and they have many ways in which they will um, switch and turn around all of these, and make different type of alliances on, as I said, either owning you or traumatizing you, one of the two. So you have the Shiva Hinduism knowledge and guidance, spiritual guidance. Of course, you have the uh, monks and Templar practices of abstinence and prayer and energy work. You have also the tantric practices, which are practiced in certain secret societies, and which focus on redirecting the sexual energy which is being created or projected upon your body through these attacks, and pushing it out, or in some cases, especially for warriors, transforming it, alchemizing it into spiritual power, so you can actually use it in a war fighting, spiritual war fighting. So there are many different ways in which you cope with this. Usually, I will say that you cannot use just one of these tactics or self-defense mechanisms or strategies. Usually you will have to be aware of many of them, and you will have to shift between different strategies, much the same as they shift between different types of attacks. So you will have to study all of this again. I said from the beginning, you must use the silent meditation, the light body meditation, the transmuting practice, and mystic prayer meditation, and Kundalini rise meditation, in order for you to learn, first of all, how to clean, of course, your energy, and how to manage your energy within your body, redirecting it, pushing, transmuting it, pushing it outside, or alchemizing it. And for example, the sacred union is the highest level of alchemy of a specific type of energy in human body, and so on. And it's a process of transmutation, essentially. Uh, Basically, this is what comes to my mind. God has said to focus on um, types of attack and types of defense. It is not necessarily a topic that I usually discuss very openly or very often. It came to my attention actually during my spiritual fighting, and of course, I do not hesitate to talk about it. And I cannot be intimidated or being bullied into keeping quiet, because this is one of the main weapons they use in spiritual attacks, even if people don't tend nowadays to discuss this open enough, and they seem to have accepted the fake knowledge put out there specifically to divert them from stepping into their power, to enslave them, to harvest their energy, to trauma bond them, and so on. Um, so I think this is what I have for you. This is part of the spiritual fighting which you are called to carry on, and you will achieve a high level awareness, energy awareness, only when you actually understand about all of this. Much of this you must understand that although it's being projected, God is guiding me to show you this. And I'm sorry I didn't think about it earlier, so I can take the book to make a reference to a specific author which I appreciated very much in my research on these topics. Um, Much of this, you must know that much of these attacks are being done through psychotronic weapons and through technology. Although projections on you seem or show to be somebody, a human, who's interacting with you, it is being known that this is being done through technology. And this is why I would have loved to make a reference to some of the research I've done some years ago, 4 years ago. There was an author which actually predicted this in the beginning of the 90s, and he actually said that you're going to be facing tremendous attacks on your lower chakras, which of course are the chakras related to sexual attacks. Um, and it will be done by technology. And he actually gives a number of spiritual guidance as well. I will probably make another video, because now I don't have that book handy, and since I could see God's guidance about this only in this moment, I don't have it right now with me to mention it in this video. But you must keep in mind that this is only to break you down, either to trick you into believing it, or to break you down. These are the two leeways that they take. So if they don't succeed to fool you and to own you, then they will try to break you down at all costs through slander, through fake evidence artificially created to denigrate you, to damage your reputation, through psychological warfare carried on this topic in order to undermine your credibility, in order to break you down from a psychological perspective, because this on an energetic level, this has huge impact on you standing in your power, of course, if they succeed to break you down. So this, you must always keep in mind that this is a strategy they employ. This is something they do. I mean, when it comes down to the hardest fight that you put out with spirits that they send, with whatever they do, type of technology attack, always if you don't find the strength to actually fight it in that second, just at least repeat this into your mind always, that this is just a strategy to break you down. This is just psychological warfare. So as long as you keep this straight in your mind and you keep your faith in God, then you will make it through. I can promise you, you will make it through. No matter how traumatic it is, you will heal that trauma. But it's much harder to come back from a broken spirit than from a trauma. Okay, so no matter how intense the attacks come at you, As long as you keep these two things, this would be probably my number one advice, to always keep this in mind and repeat this to yourself as an affirmation. This is just a psychological attack to break me down. This is only to break me down. I will not break down. I know I will make it through. I know I will make it through. As long as you do this and you keep your faith in God and you know that God will help you, you will make it through, and you will, because any kind of attack is temporary. That's the good thing. Cannot be permanent. It cannot be permanent, right? And it is, as long as you find a way to step into your power, you will break that. And in spiritual realm, there will be higher level of protection for you, as long as you gain authority over those individuals or dark forces which are being used. Okay, so I can tell you from experience that as you fight and gain authority in breaking those, um, standing in your power while you break those forces and attacks, you gain authority. And once you gain authority, usually God says you graduated the test, right? So you graduate and you receive higher level protection. As basically, you get elevated to a higher ranking, and the same type of attack cannot reach you anymore. That's the point. That's the basic divine logic in it. So this is important for you to know, because I know from experience that sometimes it is unbearable to go through these attacks. Really, sometimes it's unbearable from all perspectives, physical, psychological, in any way. Is literally a torture. This is why I said in my previous video that you will find many writings, and you can Google this, about all these tortures being carried out as experiments by Nazi camps, and by communist political prisons, and also by those who incarcerated the Templars. And they carried on exactly this type of attacks, focused on sexuality, because this is the vital power, it's the vital energy in your body, is the energy of creation. So this is very important, right? So again, I say, as long when it really becomes really hard to fight it, just keep these two ideas in your mind continuously and repeat them out loud so you can hear it, because usually they do levitation so strong that you cannot even think for yourself during those attacks, because it's too strong of a levitation. So you can speak it out loud, and you can say, this is just a psychological attack. This is just to break me psychologically. I will make it through. And I believe God is next to me and help me. And also depends who you work with in your spiritual guides. I work with Jesus mainly, but also upon guidance from Jesus and God, I work with Shiva as well, with Vishnu as well. This is what I said. Depending on what type of attacks you receive, you will have to learn about many of other practices or things which are not common to your religion or the religion where you were brought up in. But as long as you keep these two in mind, then you will make it through this to the attack, no matter how intense the attack becomes. Specifically because, as I said, essentially, you will learn to fight it back, you know, and the first step is to make it through it, and then is to learn how to fight it, so it won't touch you, so you will keep your composure, and they won't be able to touch you in any way, right? And when you succeed, that means you're mastering already the issue, the energy, and you gain authority over not only the individuals, but also you gain authority in front of those dark forces which are being sent. And that's when you get elevated in spiritual ranking to a higher level on your spiritual path. And on that level, you have a stronger protection, and they cannot reach you. They cannot, or at least they won't have the same kind of impact on you. They won't have the same kind of power on you. You will be able to fight it already much easier and to cast it out from the beginning. Okay, so I guess this is the video in which I talk about defense mechanisms and strategies against sexual attacks. I will probably find a way to include a reference to that reading which I mentioned earlier, because I know for me it made a huge difference. I did a lot of research and reading when I encountered this kind of attacks, because this was not part of my world. So it was very shocking to me. I spoke with many monks in Romania at the time, and they explained some of these things to me. Um, you will evolve through different techniques, and you will learn about different techniques. For me, initially it was to go seek advice from church, because this was um, my experience in spirituality was connected to to church. But then I learned that there are many within church who are doing this. So then I stopped going to church, and I started doing research on my own, and I learned about other religions and practices. I received different guides, and this is how I started learning about Hinduism, because I received spiritual guides um, who came to help me, and they showed me to do research on these topics to understand. So, because understanding it's big part of standing in your power, and again, I will probably somehow find a way to mention that name, which for me actually it made a difference, because I understood then you can depersonalize. God says you can this way depersonalize the attack, which is very important in your emotional handling of the issue. It is very important to depersonalize, because the initial trauma comes like, how is this individual doing this to me, but then as you depersonalize it, you strip the attack from the emotional impact, uh, um, which is important, of course. Okay, I will stop here. Please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, so we'll make sure that people who actually need this information, the spiritual teachings which I am sharing, will be able to reach this information and to draw guidance. Although I do say that my guidance, the one that I'm providing, it is coming from divine realm, from God, but it's guidance which I received and I used in my own spiritual fighting. So I emphasize that you must seek your own spiritual guidance while reading or hearing the guidance I am giving. Will help you to put into perspective, or maybe will give you a pointer where to go to research. Okay, thank you for being here on my channel. I wish you well in your spiritual fighting. If you feel inclined to support my work and donate, I appreciate that in advance. And you will find the information to my PayPal account in the description box below. Thank you.